Good evening, my friends. We shall give tonight, Im Yirtzeh Hashem, another thought regarding Parashat Shavua, Parashat Shemot. In Parashat Shavua we find that it says, Uvnei Yisrael paru, vayishretzu, vayirbu, vayatzmu bim'od me'od, vatimmale ha'aretz otam. There was a phenomenon going on in ancient Mitzrayim, Egypt, when the people of Israel, of course, after Yaakov Avinu went with them to Mitzrayim to join Yosef, who was practically the viceroy of Mitzrayim, they proliferated. They became populous. They increased in numbers that are unbelievable. As the Torah specifies, Uvnei Yisrael paru, they procreated in such enormous numbers that our sages even said, as brought in Masechet Sotah and other places, Shisha bekeres echad, that they had their pregnant women carried 6 children in their womb. According to a certain opinion, 60. That's one of the exaggerations, perhaps, that our sages probably things like that. Things happened that alluded to a very big number. And since we believe that everything was a miracle, so why not believe in a greater miracle? Like it says in the pasuk, Berach banayich bekirbech. There's a machloket between the sages. One opinion is that they had even 6 in their womb, based on the pasuk Berach banayich bekirbech. Hashem blessed their children in their womb, and Berach begins with bet, banayich with bet, bekirbech with bet, together it is number 6. And the opinion that says 60, Berach banayich bekirbech, the Kav Sofit of Berach, which is 20, plus the Kav Sofit of Banayich, plus the Kav Sofit of Bekirbech, you have together 60. All this, Kamuvan, of course, comes to teach us that this was something that is abnormal. It was going on in such numbers that the Egyptians started to become preoccupied. But that shows that Am Yisrael prospered very much, paru, vayirbu, vayatzmu, and they were very strong. Bim'od me'od. When the Torah says bim'od me'od, it means it is something that is extraordinary. Okay. So now we understand that the women, Baruch Hashem, were willing to carry many children, to give birth. Unlike today, in every second house, women, they hardly bring 1 or 2. But then they brought many children. Imagine if the Jewish people brought many children, many children, we wouldn't be such a small minority in the world. All right. So our sages said, based on that, Bizchut nashim tzadkaniyot nig'alu avotenu mimitzrayim. Because of those women who were righteous, the women of Israel who were righteous, that's why the Jewish people who had practically no zechut, no merit then, they were of the Avodah Zarah, they forgot everything, except their names, as we have mentioned this week. But it was because of the behavior, the conduct of their women, their wives, that's why the Geulah, the redemption came, of course, with Moshe Rabbeinu and so forth. So this is a statement that is very common. Everybody knows the statement, Bizchut nashim tzadkaniyot nig'alu avotenu mimitzrayim. Because of the merit of those righteous women, that's how the Jewish people was redeemed. What was that they did? What made them become tzadkaniyot, righteous? And what was exactly the deed that they used to do for which they merited such a wonderful title, righteous? Ma'asu. By the way, it was Rabbi Akiva himself who said that Bizchut Nashim Tzadkaniyot Nigalu Abotenu Mimitzrayim. It was Rabbi Akiva who is the author of that statement. Rabbi Akiva himself had a story of his wife, of course. His wife Rachel, she gave everything away. She gave up being the daughter of the richest man in Yerushalayim at the time, Kalba Sabua, to become the wife of a poor shepherd that Rabbi Akiva was. And because of her, he became such the greatest Torah scholar of all times. Who can say anything about Rabbi Akiva? And he himself, at the end of the story of Rabbi Akiva, when he came back with his 24,000 disciples, and when his old wife came to be close to him, so he said to all his disciples, this woman, Sheli ve'shela, Sheli ve'shelachem shelahu, mine and yours is hers. Which means everything that we have acquired, that I acquired as a Torah authority, as well as you, 24,000 students, all your Torah is because of that woman. So that's how great a woman can be, and the result of her conduct and behavior could bring forth such tremendous results, such as practically building up a family to the best of her ability, of course, a family that can be extremely beautiful and worthy. So that's why Rabbi Akiva, when he looked upon his wife, he saw in her Nashim Isha Tzadkanit, a righteous woman. But coming back to the women in Mitzrayim, we said that they were this type of women. So what is what makes a woman tzadkanit? How does she become righteous? Moshe says, what the Gemara says, Ezoi Isha Kshera, that's a Gemara in Masechet Nedarim, Ezoi Isha Kshera Osa Retzon Ba'ala, who is a kosher woman who does the will of her husband. Now, of course, that this statement might be understood the wrong way, which means we do have to explain it. What does it mean? And if he was a drunkard, she would follow whatever he does. On the contrary, our sages said, based on the pasuk, the Torah says that Hashem, when he built the woman for the man, he said, I shall make a helper mate to him. Which means the purpose of the woman is to help her husband. Right? So to follow him when he is decadent, when he is not worthy of anything, if he is lousy, to be with him is not helping him. And her main function is to help him. So therefore, if he is bad, how does she help him? By making him good. You understand? So that's the meaning of Osa Retzon Ba'ala. She does the Ratzon, the will of her husband. Does not mean that if he falls into the pit, she should follow him also. No. She has to build him up. She has to help him become a mensch, a good man. So therefore, we are going to study now about 18 or maybe even 20 instructions which make a woman righteous. What makes her righteous? That she could become meritorious to be instrumental in bringing the redemption upon the Jewish people. Number one. Of course, Moshe told us already that she does the will of her husband, and everybody understands that if the husband is a man of kavod, if he is a man of Torah, he's a man of leadership, a good man, then of course, if he is sincere, if he is a sincere man, then she has to do what he says. Yes, that's the way it should be. We are going to explain that. That doesn't sound that bad. Today, those words are, we are scared to talk about those things, because you never know how they will be interpreted.
The boundaries of the Torah law.
But we are talking here about really what is the depth of doing Retzon Ba'ala. Tzon Ba'ala, we're talking about in the boundary of Torah learning and Torah conduct. Absolutely. We are not talking about a secular family in which a woman... There are circumstances in which that one should, of course, explain. But right now we are talking about the family of Torah, the Torah family. Number one, the lady of the house should be there to help her husband in life. That's number one. She is there to help him. Like the Torah says, she is a helper maid, which means her duty in life is to help her husband in life, whether it is spiritually or if it is physically, to help him in every way. That's her purpose, number one. Number two, to be willing to bring children to the world. That's why Hashem made her what she is. You know, the Gemara tells us that the shape of a woman, to make it in my words, of course, the shape of a woman brings to mind her purpose, brings to mind her obligation. Our sages say that in the Gemara, Shehin Masechet Nida, she nir'et kemo bakbuk. She has a shape. Why that shape? Why? Because she has to carry children in her. And that indicates on this part that she should be willing to bring children. Kol zman shebri'utah marsha, as long as her health permits. But to just decide, no, I don't want any children, we have already one or two, I don't want any children, I want to be free. That's not a good woman. A good woman's purpose in life is to be willing to bring children as long as possible, as many as possible, as long as her health permits. There is much more to talk about each one of those instructions, but we decided to make it swift and short. Number three, to educate the children. I mean, her duty as an educator is no question about it. Definitely. She has her place in education as a primary source of education for her children. At home, of course. At the same time, she should help her husband in the education of her children. No question about it. Number four, is something that today many women have forgotten. That the house should be clean. Sheyeh bayit naqi tamid, always. That she should not, has v'shalom, God forbid, she should not permit that her house should look like a stable. There are many children. Yes, we understand. It's not easy. But if she really does l'shem shamayim to build a house that can become a house letif eret, a glorious house, she first has to make sure that her husband comes, when he comes from work after a long day's work, they open the door for him. Hi, Abba. He looks upon the house. It should look like a palace. But if he comes from a long day's work and he goes into the house and he sees that the kitchen is a place in which there was a ravage, and the house full of dirt and everything, immediately this is going to have something to do for his depression and you know how it begins. And that's where Shlom Bayit, the peace at home, is put at risk. There's no question. There is an indication about this in the Gemara also. We find in Masechet Ta'anit stories, Abba Chilkiah, many stories. We don't have the time now to tell everything, but one of the most important things in the life of a woman is to make sure that her house is clean. Number 5, I'm going to tell you something that you might not agree with me. She has to make sure that she wakes up before him. What am I talking about, huh? But I am telling you the secret of a happy house. The secret of a good house. A house which will become a source of glory. Tiferet. She has to be first. She has to be up in the morning first and to wake up her husband in case he is a little bit lazy. Get up! I have to go to pray. And I have to take care of the children. I have to make sure that everything is fine. Today, ba'avonot harabim, there is a terrible epidemic that the women sleep late. It's not good for a woman to sleep late. Now, I sound, chas v'shalom, God forbid, like somebody who is harsh regarding women. That is not true. Soon, we shall talk about the responsibility of a husband towards his wife also. But right now, we are telling you what are the obligations of the good Eshet Chayil, a woman of valor. I mean, even Shlomo HaMelech says, Eshet Chayil mi'imtza. Where can you find a woman like this? But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't try to be good women. Number 6, to wake up the children and not to tell the husband, well, dress them up. I know so many husbands today, they are the one who take care of the children, to dress them up to school. That's not his job. That has nothing to do with being, chas v'shalom, degrading the woman or disrespecting the woman. That's not his job. His job, her job is to dress the children, to take care of them, to make sure that they are clean and to send them to school. Because his job is number 1, he has to go to pray, he has to learn Torah, he has then to work all day and so forth, or to stay in the kollel all day, whatever it is. But her job is number 1, to take care of the children. You know, small things that people might even laugh at them. But these are the basis. This is the basis of a good house. A woman who does those things, her house is safe. Number 7. Again, I'm going to make you laugh. She should do her best to be beautiful for her husband. Which means she has to use makeup for her husband. Today we find the opposite. When she goes outside, she's full of makeup. When the husband comes home, he finds his wife looking like you know what. On the contrary, she should dress up and be well groomed for her husband. When he sees, when the husband comes, even psychologically it works on him. Not only he sees that his wife is still beautiful, but at the same time he sees that she is making an effort for him. If he is a good man, no question about it that he will admire her, respect her, and do many things that she wants. How many opportunities are lost because women do not understand today the importance of those things. Number 8, to be always ready in case it is necessary, to also be involved in the parnasah, in the livelihood of her husband. Sometimes the mazal is not always as we want it. Sometimes she has to be ready for that. So what? Only as a helper. Because we are going to explain later something else regarding this. Number 9. She has to speak nicely and with respect to her husband. How do I look? Very bad, right? I will talk about how he should speak to her also. But right now we are dealing with how she should. We refer to her. She has, this is psychology, Rabotai. This is not enslavement. This is psychology. She should speak nice, with nice words to her husband, especially in front of the children. Making sure that the way she addresses him is with respect and kavod. Because if she does not, the children will grow up not to respect, number 1, her. And then, of course, obviously the father also. What did we get then? Destruction of a home. Why? Just because of a small detail. Speak nice to the husband. Don't when he comes home, I can't take it. Hi. Oh, how are you, darling? Nice. Abba is here. Abba is here. She talks like this. The reputation and the name of the husband is safe. Automatically the whole family is safe. Remember what we are going to read in this Shabbat. Ish uveto ba'u ve'ele shemot bnei Yisrael ba'im Mitzrayma et Yaakov ish uveto ba'u. They had such unity in the families that they all came together with their father and they came together with their families, the husband and wife. There's no such a thing as a friction between them. You cannot hear anything about it in the Torah. Here is a 10th instruction that is extremely important for those who are zochim, if you are meritorious to accept it. לחנך הילדים לומר ברכה תמיד היכן שצריך ובקול רם. Educate. The good mother educates her children to always say a bracha at home for everything they eat, or if whenever a bracha is necessary, and loudly. You will not make the connection, of course, what does it have to do with her, and you will never be able to believe how much this is instrumental in building a beautiful family, and a family that will become successful. You know, she teaches her children to say brachot loudly, Baruch Atah Hashem, and that's the way it is. There is another thing that used to be existent in the old country. The wife never pronounced the name of her husband in front of the children. She would not refer to him by his name. She would refer to him by a title. In Hebrew, she would refer to him near the children. She would say Abba. Hi Abba, even when she talks to him. Why is that? I'm sure you notice that there are many families who do that. Hi Abba. I'm not saying that it is so bad. Now, if she talks to him by mentioning his name, that's not so bad. I'm not saying that it is bad. But it is better if she refers to him, especially in front of the children, by the term Abba, father. Or by the, we are going to explain why soon, in a minute. And this is a very important thing, and yet small details. To stand, another obligation is to stand with him in the time when, if he is in trouble. Sometimes a woman, she sees him in trouble, then automatically he doesn't have anymore the same respect that she used to feel for him. Why? Let's say he was fired. Oh boy, he's fired. Oh guy. That's it, he becomes small. No, on the contrary, that's the time when she should uplift him. That's her purpose in life. Why were you given to him? Why? Why do you think you're there? If not to help him in times of hardship. Absolutely. Here is another thing that I must mention. The Torah says, Vehu yimshol ba, and he should control her. It sounds today, this statement in the Torah sounds awful. That's not true. It's pure psychology and a wonderful statement. Do you think that the Torah meant that the husband should take the stick and hit his wife? Chas v'shalom. This is a big sin to hit your wife. It's a big sin even to speak to her the wrong way. There's no question about it. So what do you mean, Torah, when you say Vehu yimshol ba? She should be interested that he should be in control of her. She should be interested that he is the one in charge. She should be interested that he is the general of the house. Even if he is a small man. She will make him big, and automatically she makes him a king. She becomes a queen. If she does not make him a king, how will she be able to be a queen? She wants to be a queen. Make him a king then. Vehu yimshol ba, it's so important. Of course, the husband should not use this to her detriment. Chas v'shalom, by name. Okay. So, because we understand that, for example, in the house, she is the one that is moshelet. The true one, the one who is really in control is the wife. למה נקראת עקרת בית? מפני שהיא עיקרו של בית. She is the essence of the house. And yet, she gives him the title of being a moshel. So what? That doesn't mean he would be a moshel, but she gives him the title of being a moshel. That's the meaning. Vehu yimshol ba. There's more to say, but we have to make it short. Also, the wife should be always behaving with dexterity, with energy, to sustain her husband, especially to bring him to do mitzvot. If she sees him lacking in mitzvot or in learning Torah, she should be behind. Did you learn enough today? Did you do this mitzvah? Did you do it bechavana? That's the wife. That's the function of the wife. Another instruction, not to be angry at him in case he is late in Bet HaMidrash. You understand? You know, sometimes you are late, the wife is angry. She shouldn't be angry if she knows he went to Bet HaMidrash. I'm not saying that she should be angry if he comes from That's already something else. She should be the one who always calms him down. In case of a certain turmoil in his house, when he is, or if he is in bad shape, she should be there to uplift him and to calm him down. I mean, in every sense of the meaning, the woman should, to the best of her ability, never to go out to work in far places. Chas v'shalom. Sometimes it is necessary. Sometimes it is impossible to avoid. But if it is possible to avoid, the woman should refrain from going outside to work, if it is possible. Today, even though he has plenty of money, she wants also to work. It's very bad. Kol kevudda bat melech penima. The woman was not meant to be working outside, except in some circumstances. Sometimes you are a Torah man, you are a Kollel man, there's not much parnasah, she is allowed to work. But in those houses, that's okay. Now, Isha she'osa kol ze. Now, is of course, a woman who does all this is definitely a woman of emunah, a woman who is tzadkanit. Who is going to disagree with that? That's when we call her that she is tzadkanit. If we had the time, I would quote from the Meiri, a beautiful Meiri. Meiri is one of the Rishonim who tells us a little shi'ur about mamash. Almost every word that I said is brought here by the Meiri, and that's how the woman is considered to be the gefen, mamash, the vine of the family, who projects her light outside, while the branches could even be inside the house. That's what the Meiri says. So a woman who does all this is not only tzadkanit and righteous, but also her share is great with the share of her husband in Torah, as well as in Olam Haba. And definitely because of her, the Geulah will come upon the Jewish people. I definitely wish every house, every housewife, that she should observe those things and to do them with the greatest wisdom. Sometimes with tipshut it doesn't work, but with wisdom, all this is a tremendous asset to a wonderful family, a family that will give its fruits everywhere in the world, and everyone will say only praises. Like it says, Sheker achen vehevel hayofi, isha yirat Hashem hi tithallal. When do we praise such a woman, that this woman becomes praiseworthy? You understand? So have a beautiful night and be well, everybody.